Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Boss Body Podcast. Sarah Haas here, and I am glad you're here with me. I have a really fun, cool guest on today. Her name is Linda Babulic, and she is an executive life coach. And she's an author of a #1 best-selling book called Zest Your Life, A Taste of Inner Wisdom, which I love. I love the name of that. I think that's so cool. And Linda works with executive women to share her wisdom teachings and to nudge them to courageously tap into their innate feminine strengths and find their dreams so they can live a better life, which I just think is so beautiful. And as you all know, this podcast is about wellness. It is also, obviously, it's about nutrition, it's about fitness, all those good things. But if you have been listening, you know that I believe in holistic wellness. And it is not just about the food that you put on your plate, it's about how you live your life and how all aspects of your life affect your health. So, Linda is here to talk to us about spiritual health. And when I say spiritual, I'm not talking about religious. I am not talking about any kind of denomination or anything specific. It's more about your inner wisdom and your connection with the universe or a higher power. So, Linda, thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm absolutely delighted to speak with you again, Sarah.
Well, thank you. So I would love for you to, just tell us a little bit about your background and who you are and what you do and how you came to be this executive life coach and teaching your inner wisdom.
Great, I'm happy to do that. I'm in Ottawa, Canada, and I'm an executive life coach for women who have achieved some of their dreams. They had these goals to climb the corporate ladder or to have their own enterprise, and it's gone really, really well, but there's a piece inside of them that knows it's empty. It's
Mhm.
missing something. So they've climbed, but they don't have that satisfaction in their life.
Yeah, and I
And I
think that
started,
will resonate with so many women because whether it's accomplishments in your career or with your family or whatever you set out to do, so many women out there are so successful in so many areas, but we feel that yearning, that empty space, and we can't quite put our finger on it. And so that's what you help women do. Am I right?
that is correct. That is what I do. It's to help them identify what's missing, even if they don't know something's missing.
Mm-hmm.
Because often we don't know. We have an uneasy feeling, and then that starts to show up on us emotionally in other ways. Especially once menopause hits, you might find yourself bursting into tears and you don't know why. Or
Yeah.
you've just got this heavy feeling. You feel like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders. You're
Mm-hmm.
responsible for everybody else, and you don't need to be.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times women just tend to write it off as, oh, I'm just overly emotional or, oh, it's just hormones. But I believe that your body speaks to you. And anytime that you have a feeling or an emotion, that's your body and your mind saying, here, this is a check engine light blinking. You need to pay attention because you need to follow up here and go a little deeper and see what's going on.
And what happens when we don't? Well, my personal experience, I was working long hours. I was working on Parliament Hill, which is our government, and for a representative. And I was exhausted. And
Mhm.
I would go in on Sundays and I would work on Sundays so that on Monday I didn't have so much overwhelm. And I got myself into such a mess that I was I'd gone to work in the morning. I came home on the Sunday, early Sunday, to prep meals for the week to make it easier. I had 2 teenagers at the time. And I said, I'm just going to go walk the dog. I'll be right back. And I went for a little jog with the dog. And when I came back, I had lost my capacity to speak.
Oh,
I
wow.
had to see the words. And it was like I was reading the words in the sky because I couldn't put the sentence together without reading the words.
That's
That was the
terrifying. See, I
of
would be
3
thinking I'm having
terrifying
a
years.
stroke. Yeah.
Well, and that's what my husband thought. So we went off to emergency. It wasn't that. Um, we still don't know what it was. I have abnormal brain waves on the left side of my brain, which made me the brunt of a lot of really bad brain jokes. But it took me 3 years to recover.
Yeah.
And I think that that was very significant for me to be able to step into my power, to be able to see life differently, to know that I might not still be here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to appreciate every day, and I was going to live it connected in a different way, connected to myself, connected to people around me. And that's when I started my journey of healing myself. And then I got to believe that when you heal yourself, you heal those around you. And
Oh,
when
I
you heal those
100%
around
agree.
you, you heal the world.
Oh,
So I
yes. I
think
love that.
we need to take responsibility to heal ourselves. But as we heal ourselves, we're responsible for 7 generations forward. So
That's a
our
big responsibility.
your children, and it all starts with us. It
Yes.
starts with what you love to talk about health and healing and good
Mhm.
habits. So when I
Yeah.
was looking for something more in my life, I went on a vision quest in 2003. And I'd read all the books. I studied a lot of the gurus, and the shamanic medicine really spoke to me because they're ancient wisdom teachings. And what I do now is I convert those into the language for today's use so that I'm not talking in words or acronyms that are not going to be applicable to your life. So I
So
like to give you daily tools so that you know exactly how to start your day.
So, if someone listening is not familiar with shamanic teachings and shamanic wisdom, can you just briefly, explain what that is and where that comes from?
Well, the path that I studied was, they called it the twisted hair tradition. So it came from several paths. And if you I was raised as Catholic. And so I could recognize some Catholicism in there. I was familiar with Buddhism and
Mhm.
Hinduism. And so it was a real mix, Aboriginal studies from Australia, from North America. It's a combination of many of those. But I think of shamanism as honoring Mother Earth and honoring nature around us. I think of it as really going back to before there was organized religion. People still honored the earth and the sun and the moon and their environment. And to
Mhm.
me, that's what shamanism taught me, was that deep appreciation for doing that, for holding ceremony, for having sacred space, for creating the world that we want to live in.
Yeah, I love that because it's kind of like going back to basics. And I feel that every time I get out in nature. When I'm overly stressed, when my brain is going 100 miles an hour, when I've had a long day and I'm exhausted, stepping outside just brings all that stress level down. It's just so grounding, and just the sounds of nature and just the breeze and the birds and the trees, everything, it just sort of brings you back to being centered and calm. And so I love that your teachings are sort of rooted in that because that's where it all begins. Yeah. So you mentioned a sacred practice. Tell me what exactly you mean by that, and how can creating sacred practice help women with their health,
Well, it's
mental
being
and
conscious.
spiritual and emotional and physical.
I love that because I teach things on a wheel. And so if we talk about the emotional, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. So emotionally, when you go out and you connect with nature, even if you can't go out, most of us have plants in our home or we'll get a bouquet of flowers. Just look at one leaf and just connect with that one leaf and the magic and the mystery that's in there. And as soon as you do that and you take a few deep breaths, then you're creating a spiritual practice right there, a
Mhm.
sacred practice.
It's almost
I know
like
I talk to my plants.
meditation.
I tell my plants how beautiful they are.
Yeah.
Look at you, beauty, how wonderful you are today. And I have a lot of hibiscus. So I always talk to them and tell them how gorgeous they are. And my orchids. And that just makes it a sacred time
Mhm.
where you're there. So you can have many sacred practices. So instead of just watering your plants, thank them for bringing you joy and beauty.
So it's basically
Gratitude.
like
Yeah.
meditation, mindfulness. It's
Mhm.
it's being in the moment, being exactly where you are right then, because we tend to live in our heads. I know I do. That it's all the thoughts are just swirling around, and I'm worried about the future, and I'm worried about my to-do list, and I'm worried about, work and what I finished and what I didn't get finished, and blah 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 blah. And the best way to bring that back down is mindfulness. And, people use mindfulness and meditation sort of interchangeably, but to me, it's just like what you said, it's slowing down. And the way to do it is to focus on just one thing, because then you are right there. You are in the moment. You are no longer caught up in the stress and the all the everything that's going on inside your head and in the world around you.
And have you ever met someone that when you spoke to them, you felt like there was nothing else around? Just that
Absolutely.
one channel. It's
Mhm.
so powerful. And then you talk to somebody else and they're looking all over the place and they're checking their phone. Yeah, yeah, I'm listening. Total different energy.
Yeah.
But when you put your energy into that one channel, that's when you can really beam up and get that connection. I wanted to talk about food as a sacred practice.
Oh, I would
If you
love that.
appreciate When you appreciate your food and you're thankful, when you think of how many people did it take to put that one loaf of bread on your table,
Mhm.
that one, whatever it is that you're eating, and we get food from all over the world now. I went on a spiritual journey to Bolivia and Peru a few years ago. And when I saw the Sacred Valley and saw where they grow the asparagus that we're eating at Christmas. So when I see it came from Peru, it's not labeled organic, but it's all organic because they can't afford all the chemicals and pesticides of other companies.
Mhm.
And I always buy it and I so honor it. It brings me right back to being there with the vendors and the farmers and the beauty all around me in that valley.
Yeah.
And it makes me really appreciate the food that I'm having. And
Yeah.
the food that I'm having, when I imbue it with that blessings, really,
Mhm.
it's the blessing of the bread. And when you bless your food that way, by thanking it, honoring it, having gratitude for it,
Mhm.
I think it takes all the calories out of it. What do you think?
Absolutely. If it's chocolate cake, whatever. You bless it, you're grateful for it. And yeah, but I really like what you're saying about the gratitude for the food and slowing down and sort of taking that in at the moment, because one of the things that I teach my clients is mindfulness around eating. Because a lot of us are eating at our desk and in our cars and in front of the TV, and we're just throwing it down our throats, not even thinking about it. We end up eating more than we really should because we're not paying attention to when we're full. And I think that it is really beautiful when people say a prayer before their meal, because that's the same thing as what you're talking about. And what it does is it's a sacred practice that takes you from your everyday busyness into a pause so that you can slow down and enjoy your food and digest it and eat slowly. And so it's a physical practice and also a spiritual practice. And I like what you said about, you are connected. We're all connected. We are part of the earth. We are part of the environment. Everything that we do is connected to someone else. And when you sit there and think about who grew this food, where did this come from? Where did they ship it from? That really brings home that connectedness, and it's very powerful.
And it's as simple as when you serve someone a meal or you serve someone a piece of that lovely chocolate cake and they go, "Oh, this is so good. I really appreciate it." How do we feel? We feel appreciated when we're doing that.
Mhm.
It's
I call
really
it vitamin
important.
L. I tell my kids when I cook something for them, I say, "I put in lots of vitamin L for you." And of course they roll their eyes, but I know they love it.
And we call that the magic ingredients because it's made
Yes.
with love.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So if you could give my listeners something tangible, some kind of action step that they can take, because you work with women who are super stressed and super overwhelmed, and um, you help them slow down and listen to their own intuition or inner being, whatever you want to call it. Am I right?
That's absolutely right. And that's what that innate feminine wisdom is that I help them tap into.
Yeah. Yeah. So if somebody wants to kind of get started with something like this and we're not used to it, it's uncomfortable, it's hard to slow down, we don't like it. We feel like we're not doing it right, and we can't get our brain to slow down. What's a way that we could get started?
Well, let's multitask because I know so many women love to multitask. So here's what you can do. You're going to take a shower in the morning,
Yes.
probably.
Yes.
So
Hopefully.
while you're taking the shower, don't make your list of all the things you're going to do. Instead, I want you to stand there and really feel the water. And most of us live in places where we can actually have the water in our mouth. I've been to places where you didn't want to have the water in your mouth, but for the most part, you can really appreciate the water. Just feel it on your skin. Have you ever gone halfway through your day and said, "Did I take a shower today?"
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you weren't even really there. Have I eaten today?
Or
Because
when
you
you
weren't.
drive somewhere and then you think, I don't remember driving here. I have no memory. I know I did because I'm here, but how did I get
Exactly.
here?
So when you take your shower, whether it's morning or night, just really feel that water and appreciate how it tickles on your skin and how different it feels as you make it a little warmer. I always like to shut off the shower with cold, so I get that nice invigorating feeling. And buy yourself some nice soap. I love soap milled in France. I don't know why the French have a secret formula on how
Ooh,
to make the most magnificent soap.
yes.
And
Treat
it's
yourself, self care. And that's an easy, inexpensive way to do it.
and it smells so nice. So you smell it, you really appreciate the craftsmanship that went into that soap. Don't touch mummy's soap. That's mummy's soap. Don't
Yeah,
touch mummy's soap. and
exactly.
then And then you could just really appreciate that. So you've got your soap and your water. You're starting your day with gratitude. And whatever you have gratitude for, you will get more of. So you're going to be really blessed. The other ceremony I'd like you to do when you're in the shower is as the water drains down, just release any bitterness, any anger, any frustration that is residual. Maybe it's a dream. I called my sister one morning, my older sister, and I said, I don't know what's the matter with me. I'm so bummed out today. That doesn't happen to me. And she goes, oh, you must have had a bad dream. That's why you call the big sister. I said, oh, you're right. I don't remember what it was, but I feel so much better realizing it was a dream. So instead of saying, I'm going to have a bad day, which I never do, or you stub your toe and you say, well, that's it, it goes down. I just unplugged from that emotion. I just released it and went, oh, that was a bad dream. And that's what triggered my feeling a bit bummed out. As soon as she said it, it was gone. And it doesn't take much for us to do that. So if we send those feelings and those emotions down the drain and intend, I'm going to have a great day. I have a nice fluffy towel now. I'm going to dry off. I'm going to feel really good. I'm going to wear my best moisturizer, whatever it is. Just to have an appreciation for that one morning ritual. And I guarantee you, if you do that for 30 days, your life will change.
Oh,
And if
I
it doesn't,
agree.
call me.
Oh man, I just want to go get in the shower right now. It sounds so good. And I love that you're starting your day out that way because you're right. I mean, a lot of days I wake up and I'm already ticking off my to-do list. I'm practically running to my desk to write stuff down before I forget it. And just like easing into the day and coming in with a whole different attitude, a whole different mood. And I love the metaphor of just washing away the frustration and the pain and the irritation and the stress. Like, I think that's wonderful. I think that's such good advice and such an easy, tangible way to get started on feeling better. So I would love for you to, I'm sure I have listeners who want more of what you're talking about. So if people want to find you and read more about you and look into your book and um, reading up on you and what you do, how can they find you?
Everything is on my website, lindababulic.com, and you'll see there are two streams. There's the Zest Your Life stream, which talks more about this, Akashic record readings, building a mind map so you do have your dreams. Scroll to the bottom of that page, and I have a free gift for you on how to create your dreams, how to learn to use the medicine wheel to create your dreams and desires. That's at the bottom of the Zest Your Life tab. And if you want to know more about my corporate training programs, they're under the Zest Your Business tab.
Great. So I am
And there's a
also,
chat button there. Just click on the Let's Chat like you did, Sarah. Just
yes.
click on Let's Chat and book an appointment. Just let me
Okay.
know that you came from this wonderful podcast.
Yes, and I'm also going to put links in all the show notes. So if people don't know how to spell your name or forget, the link is right there. They can find you easily. So Linda, thank you. What a cool conversation. I love what you do and you and I are both in the business of empowering women and giving them confidence and peace and joy and up leveling your life so that you thrive. So I love what you do and I appreciate you being on today so much.
Thank you. We're not meant to live ordinary lives. We're meant to live zesty lives, full of fun and joy and laughter. The more we fill our lives with that, the better our immune system is, the better our health is, the better our skin looks, better our hair looks. It's all good.
Perfect. All right, Linda, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I know you got a lot of good, juicy stuff out of this talk. I know I did, and I will be putting this into practice first thing tomorrow morning. So thanks again for being here, and I will see you again next time.